Hello, this is Susan. Welcome to my YouTube channel, Susan&Kassandra. It's been a while since I got on here and had a little chat with you, so I thought I would just cover a couple of subjects that are coming up lately, particularly after the eclipse. So we had a fantastic meditation, the humming meditation on the eclipse. It was beautiful. And it actually started in the morning for us. We had such a peaceful time, such a peaceful day. The evening was absolutely magical, and it went through the next day or two, the same feeling of peace and serenity, which was very, very nice. And it was lovely to feel a part of the millions of people across the planet that were all dedicating time, energy, and devotion to goodness for all, to being the counterbalance to all of this negativity, which is what I wanted to talk to you about. So you've seen these videos, I've seen them going around all the different platforms, and as you're aware, I'm not on any social media platforms apart from YouTube. Anyway, these videos are about, what is it, demon face syndrome. There's a guy that said that he went to see a guy that he normally sees, and when the guy turned around, he had black eyes and different ears and things, and it freaked him out and he left. And then there's another video of a lady talking about the sun during the eclipse and after the eclipse, the sun and the moon, and now it has geometric shapes within it, like an orb, when you take a photo of an orb, like that. So I just wanted to explain why that's happening now, okay? So since the moment I can remember, I've always seen beyond the physical. So as a young child, I would see demons, entities, and also divas, fairies, and deceased and things like this. So I understand that side of it, right? I know what it is to see beyond the veil. Now, what's been said over the past few years is that the veil is getting thinner and thinner. And you hear this word a lot. The veil is getting thinner, the awakening is quickening, all of these things. So what do you think is going to happen as a result of that? You who don't normally see beyond the physical are going to start seeing beyond the physical, meaning this face that people show you is not necessarily who they are. Like, I can look at a person and know where their soul is from, where their spirit is from, whether it's a starseed, interdimensional, human, whatever. I can tell this, I can see it. And that's what's going to be happening for everyone. You're all going to start seeing the truth. So the truth will set you free. So yes, it's scary because we are used to, as a whole, seeing something that we're told, this is what it looks like, these are the parameters in which it exists, and this is how everyone should look. And now we're starting to see things as geometric shapes, perhaps, or they're not solid anymore, or a demon face or an alien face on someone that who know how they look, right? So it's being able to see beyond the veil, to see the truth. Now, the other good thing about that is that the truth will set you free. There's a lot in that little tiny sentence. People don't realize that they have been taken over by demonic beings or alien beings or what have you. Some people don't even realize that they are an incarnated alien being or an interdimensional being. Right? They don't because when we originally, when we're born, the veil, because it was thick, it creates the amnesia that we all experience. So in other words, not knowing who we are, where we came from, our past lives, that history of ourselves is blocked to us. Sometimes we remember abilities and gifts that we may have had from a past life. It's like when you see people at a very young age playing the piano, so amazing, or drawing, or singing, or construction, or science. anything like that is an indication that they've done it in past lives, and they're just remembering the physicalization of it. So it's like riding a bike. You know, sometimes I would see children that it's perhaps their first lifetime. And those children, if it's their first lifetime, we need to teach them in a different way to the way we teach children who had many lifetimes, because the children who've had many lifetimes automatically pick up the physical nuances about this world, but children who haven't don't. So they need to be taught in a different way. They're not stupid, they just need to be taught in a different way. And it's the same as we grow up and become adults. Due to the veil, many people have forgotten, and now they're going to start remembering, because they're going to start seeing beyond the physical. And that kind of is scary, because it makes you question everything that you saw as real in your past. It makes you question the very fabric of reality. Now, I don't question it because I'm used to it. I'm also used to being called crazy, delusional, nut job. I've been called all sorts of things, and it really doesn't bother me anymore. It used to, but it doesn't bother me anymore, simply because I know my truth. I'm very clear on what my truth is. So if I'm clear on what my truth is, then nothing and no one can interfere with that and brainwash me, manipulate, or control me. And that's where you're coming in, right? You're starting to understand your truth. So no one can manipulate you. You're starting to see the truth. So no one can manipulate, control, or have authority over you. And when you realize that, it's a game changer, right? It's the end of the game for the darkness. The truth will set you free. And what I know from working with, I don't know how many thousands of people that have had, negative energies are different. I did one talk on this on my live platform. If you look at, have those little headings on YouTube, videos, and then live. If you go into live, there's one that I did on psychic attack that's quite interesting, and it talks a little bit about different things. But what I know about releasing people from these entities, these beings, these implants and imprints, is that the more that I know the truth about it, the weaker it becomes, to the point where it just gets plucked out. And what I also noticed, it started a few years ago, that some of these beings want to be released. They don't want to be trapped and tied to a body anymore. They actually want to be released. Some of them, the contract's over that they may have had with you, so they're just waiting for that opportunity to be released, to be let go of. So the more that you find out about the darkness, the weaker it becomes, which is why all the propaganda is coming out right now. Oh, conspiracy theorists. Oh, they're this, they're that. They're crazy. They're lunatics. They're far right. They're this and that. It's all coming out to try and convince those that aren't awake to go on the road that they want them to go on, so that they can create the reality of enslavement for all of mankind, and to destroy this planet in some ways. Not in some ways, I mean, they want to convert it to a planet that's more conducive to their way of life. And the planet is not going to go there. So, and we all sense it. Either something really big is going to happen, or a change of consciousness, which is another big thing that will happen to quickly shift that. And we don't need to experience all the dark prophecies. And that's another thing. We hear all these prophecies, right? All these things that are going to happen, blah, 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 and then they don't happen. And it's interesting, because the things that don't happen are usually the really dark things. And you have to ask yourself why. It's because when people are speaking the truth about it and saying, this is going to happen, this is what they have planned, it weakens it. So it doesn't happen. So the more that we speak our truth, the more that we share what we know with others, the better. I'm not talking about brainwashing, convincing. You know, there's nothing worse than being with someone who's trying to heavily convince you in their way of thinking and doesn't let go of the bone, doesn't give up, and it's exhausting. You just plant seeds. You just say a little bit and walk away. You don't need to give them the whole fruit, yeah, just a seed. So the veil is getting weaker, so more and more things are going to be seen. More and more truths are going to be revealed, and some of them are unpleasant because it rocks your world. It's like, you know, when you find out that the person that you've been in a relationship with has been having affairs and you kind of knew it, but you didn't want to admit it. And then the truth is revealed and you feel like the whole relationship has been a lie. You feel like you've been hit over the head with a hammer, and then all the other pieces start to fall in. But it's a process of grieving, of sadness, of letting go of the lie, which was a projected future that wasn't real because that person really wasn't committed to you. So it's like that. When we think about the government and we think they're committed to us and they're working on our behalf, they're like the lover that's betraying us and having affairs. And then when we find out, we feel shame, we feel guilt for not listening to the signs and recognizing it. We feel fooled, we feel, devastated. And then we have to go through all the lies and everything. And this is what's coming. So, yeah, a lot more is going to come out about these different beings. Oh, yeah, and there was the other thing too. I'm just getting from spirit well, it was a black mass that came from the Antarctic down through past, I think it was Africa, down into the Atlantic, and it was a massive, massive black thing that they said was creating, like, I think it was 800-meter waves and all this, but nothing was actually happening. And the boys, the wave boys dropped by 2,000 feet, and there's a lot going on. And people were like, oh, I don't know what that is, because it showed up on radars, but it didn't show up in the physical. Do you get what I'm saying? It's multidimensional. It's an interdimensional craft that's making a move. I'm simply stating the fact that a lot of weird things are going to start happening, and you're going to start seeing things and feeling things that maybe you don't have an explanation for. But your truth has to withstand all of that. So yeah, you may feel like your brain is being bent out of shape because everything you knew about that system was a lie. It's like everything you knew about that relationship was a lie. And now you have to go through that repairing of oneself and not allowing that to happen again. Every time you've been in a relationship with someone who's betrayed you like that, obviously you say, that's never going to happen again. I'm not going to allow that to happen again. And you have your guard up and you're on the lookout. Now you're very aware. You don't let things slide. And so things are going to increase in this. Get prepared with, a lot of people are talking about spiritual warfare. That's what it is. It's a warfare on the mind and the spirit, because the mind controls the physical reality and the spirit actually guides the whole process. But if you're not listening to your spirit, then you're going to listen to other people because you're going to feel powerless. Anyway, I won't go into that right now. I just wanted to respond to what's been floating around on social media and give you a little bit of an explanation as to why suddenly that's happening. And of course, the mainstream are trying to say it's a syndrome. It's not a syndrome. It's reality, right? It's like many things we're being told to believe in a reality that's not true, or there's something wrong with us, where the R word, or where, you know, I don't, it's hard to say it because obviously on this platform, everything you say is monitored. Well, particularly everything I say. I don't have growth, I don't have a lot of things, but I know that when I put my truth down and I put it out there, everybody else starts talking about it. And so I know I'm planting something, I'm grounding something from the universe onto the planet so that other people pick up that plane, that radio wave of information that I've picked up on. So I'll leave you with that. I'm sending you lots of love and enjoy your day. Bye for now.